Good morning, Loyola. I'm Alana Thompson.
And I'm Emma Eisman.
It's been about 2 weeks since the presidential election, and the results have left students across the country feeling a range of emotions.
That's right, Alana. Former President Trump has been elected for another term, and here on campus, students have a lot to say about what this means for the future of the country.
The Maroon's Frankie Esteves tells us more about the students' reactions to the 2024 election.
On November 5th, 2024, millions of Americans gathered around a television, waiting anxiously to find out who our next president would be. And late that night, multiple newsrooms called the race and announced former President Donald Trump would be back in the White House in January. Loyola senior Camila Capriles was happy with the results, believing Trump would be a better president.
I feel like that's going to be great for the country, great for the economy, great for everyone. Internationally, I believe that he's going to end wars, I know the tariff stuff is crazy, but I think that that's going to benefit the U.S.
But at Loyola, Capriles says she's noticed the worry many students have after hearing the results.
My peers here in Loyola, they're sad, and I understand because Kamala's more about human rights than Trump, and I understand why you would be sad because there's a lot of dangerous things that could happen.
Business senior Sofia Paoleski is among the Loyola students upset over the results. She said there were many issues scaring her with another Trump term, but the biggest was abortion.
It's scary to feel like our autonomy and our choices are to a certain extent being taken away from us, and having to be scared of potentially even starting my own family.
And with Republicans winning the House and Senate, the party now controls all three branches of the U.S. government. This is something Paoleski says worries her.
It kind of makes me have a little bit of doubt in our democratic government system. And I feel like by having all of the Republican Party and a majority of Republicans in every single party, that it kind of takes away from the liberty and the freedom and the checks and balances that were created in the first place.
Still, Capriles said she doesn't believe it will be as bad as others say.
There's nothing horrible that he can do. Well, yeah, he can, but I don't think he will, hopefully. So, yeah, let's just get through these 4 years, and then maybe you'll change your mind.
From PAC News, I'm Frankie Esteves.
While the election has sparked conversation about the future of the country, there's another big change coming right here at Loyola.
After more than 30 years of teaching at Loyola, Dr. Kathy Rogers, Loyola's beloved public relations professor, is preparing to retire at the end of this school year.
Our team sat down with Dr. Rogers and some of her students to reflect on her incredible career and the legacy she leaves behind.
Here's Maria DeFelice with the story.
After 35 years in the School of Communication and Design, Dr. Kathy Rogers has left her mark and is ready to see what new doors are open.
I just can't imagine. Life's too short to do that. I want to lean in and see what else there is.
While she will be missed, her students will never forget the life lessons she has taught them in and out of the classroom.
She's really taught me, we have a lot of conversations, deep conversations, and she's really taught me to, feel emotions. And that, just because something didn't go how you want it to go does not mean that you're, a failure in life.
And she doesn't just teach students. She has made impressions on Loyola professors as well.
She has this wonderful relationship with students, and then she carries that through their time at Loyola. And then when they leave campus, they still keep in touch with her. She stays in their lives. She really cares about them.
I'll probably keep in contact with her after I graduate.
Dr. Rogers also has advice for you.
I just think you have to be who you are, and you have to stand up for yourself.
With a fond farewell from Loyola to Dr. Rogers, this has been Maria DeFelice reporting.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll take you inside Loyola's new St. Ignatius Chapel.
We'll share the story behind one of the most unique features, a statue of the Virgin Mary like you've never seen before.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Loyola's new St. Ignatius Chapel opened this semester, and one feature inside is catching everyone's attention.
A unique statue of the Virgin Mary stands out, not just for its beauty, but for its powerful symbolism.
Our reporter, Matthew Richards, takes us inside to uncover the history behind and meaning behind this remarkable piece of art.
A statue of the pregnant Virgin Mary has found a home inside the new Chapel of St. Ignatius here on campus. The statue is one of 3 that was commissioned by Loyola in advance of the chapel's completion.
So I was one of several members on the chapel planning committee, and one of the topics was the statuary. We really wanted the artwork to reflect the student experience because this is a chapel at a university.
Some campus religious leaders are hoping that through the statue, students are able to identify and resonate with some of the challenges of faith that a young Mary would have faced during that time in her life.
So the statue of Mary obviously captures a particular moment in her life. She's pregnant with Jesus. She's got her hand outstretched like this, kind of sort of showing her openness to what God is asking of her.
The location of the statue inside the chapel is very intentional and was chosen to help create a welcoming environment for attendees.
Mary sits on a direct axis across from the tabernacle, which in the Catholic faith, again, is really the special dwelling place for the real presence of God. And so the idea that the congregation sort of sits in the midst of these 2 very powerful poles of devotion is important.
Some members of campus, like Quinta Adkins, believe the statues in the chapel are a net positive for the faith and fellowship communities on campus. But Adkins also encourages people to exercise caution in associating too much with symbols rather than the message they're meant to convey.
There might be a temptation to say that's an object of my worship, that I'm going to worship. The nice way to put that would be worship through that object. The scriptures are very clear that graven images are a touchy subject. Now, how you begin to interpret those things is not for me to unilaterally decide for Christendom.
Reporting from Loyola, New Orleans, this is Matthew Richards, Wolfpack News.
It has been a little over a month since Jimmy John's replaced Subway, and Loyola students have mixed opinions over the newest addition to Loyola dining.
Many students around campus say they do not understand why the change between sandwich shops was necessary. The biggest complaint amongst student body was that Jimmy John's has less options than Subway.
However, for students like Liz Snow, there is one option Jimmy John's has that Subway did not: gluten-free alternatives.
The opening of Jimmy John's I found helped a bit in the fact that unlike Subway, they do offer some gluten-free options and they have things that I know can be readily available to me. Seeing them open the Jimmy John's really made me realize that Loyola is hopefully going in the right step for their accommodations for people with allergies and other dietary needs. Hopefully continuing to just make things more accessible for everybody is very much shining a positive light on Loyola's dining options.
With the Orleans Room removing their allergen-safe station over the summer, Snow said that having Jimmy John's not only makes her and other students facing allergies lives easier.
Hi, my name is Edwin Mzalu from Miami, Florida, class of 2017. Today, I am the PR manager at Newlink Communications. I entered the Donnelly really early in my career at Loyola, and it was probably the best thing that I could have done because from a very early time, I was connecting everything that I was learning in class to the real world. It's the place where you can make the mistakes under the supervision of a staff faculty. I made mistakes, and when those types of assignments came up later in my career, I already had that experience. I wasn't learning at another company, I was learning in my school, and that's pretty great.
What's up, Wolfpack? I'm Abigail Schmidt.
And I'm Leonard Jackson III.
The Overwatch team continued their undefeated season this year by winning their first divisional championship over Texas A&M San Antonio. Our Alex Parton and Leonard Jackson met with some members of the program as they celebrated this milestone.
The esports team has been growing exponentially within the past year. Lumen Vera, the head coach of the esports team, has a lot to say.
The team and the program have definitely become a more structured unit. With setting up department leads, we have people who are able to cover the grounds that are needed to make this program flourish.
Lumen Vera talks about the growth of his players and how well they have adapted to their roles on the team.
The players themselves have grown pretty significantly. This is the first year we've had a larger number of students come in, and so that had some growing pains early on in fall, but the teams really have come together, and each of our teams have a much more cohesive unit.
Makari Jackson shares his role on the esports team.
A role that has a little bit more, obviously has a little bit more responsibility than a player. I'm responsible for fighting scrims and keeping all the other players informed about what's going on. Starting to push me to want to become more of a leader, because leadership isn't something that I've always kind of strived towards, but now that I'm in the role, I want to fulfill it as best as I can.
You can find the esports team room below the Dana Center in the Satimos Lounge. This is Leonard Jackson III reporting for the Maroon.
While the fall season has officially ended, you can follow Loyola's esports team on Twitch, Discord, and Twitter for more information.
The volleyball team ended their season this past weekend after a loss to William Carey University in the SSAC tournament semifinals this past weekend. The Wolfpack finished the season with a 12-18 overall record, but a 7-6 record in conference play. Graduate student Amaya Bazemore and senior Simone Moreau were both named all-conference first team for their performances this season.
The men's and women's basketball teams were both in action this week as they played 2 home games in the Den on Monday night against Xavier University of Louisiana and Thursday afternoon against the University of Tennessee Southern. The women lost their matchup with Xavier by a score of 81-76 and were led by performances of sophomore forwards Denia Thornton and Alyssa Odell. Thornton scored 16 points to lead the Wolfpack, and Odell finished with a 12-point and career-high rebounds in the loss. The men's team also suffered a 2-point defeat to the Gold Rush on Monday, losing 69-67. Redshirt junior Leonard Jackson III led the Wolfpack with 15 points on the night, and redshirt senior Cameron Williams added 13 points and 3 rebounds as well.
And in cross country, freshman Drake Braylon is representing the Wolfpack as the NAIA National Championship in Columbia, Missouri this weekend. He is the first men's athlete to represent the Wolfpack at Nationals since 2021 and earned the appearance by finishing 7th out of 74 runners at the conference championships on November 8th. That's all for your Wolfpack sports this week. Be sure to check out the Wolfpack Athletics website for more info.
Thanks, Leonard and Abigail. Loyola had their annual Loyola Week celebration last week, where we honor our Jesuit and Ignatian heritage. The events included a jazz mass at the Chapel of St. Ignatius, a faculty versus student basketball game, and a performance by the University Gospel Choir, along with speakers and guests from throughout the Catholic community.
As Thanksgiving break is next week, our Chloe Witt set out on campus to ask students what they are most thankful for this holiday season.
I'm most thankful for friends, family, and just just overall being alive and stuff.
I'm thankful for my family, and then also randomly, I'm thankful for Loyola Res Life, which I know is controversial, but I'm an RA and I think the staff is really awesome this year. So
I'm thankful for Dr. Rosenbecker because she has been an icon and she has been letting me do so much makeup work this season. I'm about to get this grade up. So I'm very thankful for her.
What are you thankful for?
Girl, the semester to end.
I'm thankful for being able to study here in a safe place, have a roof over my head, be able to breathe, eat food, be completely healthy, walk, everything. I'm grateful for everything.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. I'm Alana Thompson.
And I'm Emma Eisman. Make sure to keep up with the campus news and have a happy holiday.